Hey game creators, ready to level up? Hello everyone, I'm BatPan, a bat who uses pan as a helmet. Sorry for my voice, I have a cold, but it's not gonna stop me from making videos. Today's mission, mastering game hints. We'll add top right screen hints that boost gameplay and guide your players. Plus I have a series of videos packed with the functions to help you create your own games. And guess what? I've uploaded my own retro psychological horror game. Link is in the description. Hit that like button if you're ready to dive in. And don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. Alright, let's begin. First section, let's set up the hint UI. You can click on this plus or right click here. Create a UI canvas. You can give the canvas settings like me. I'm gonna make it bigger. Change it from constant pixel size to scale with the screen size. Give your screen resolution. Mine is 1920 by 1080. Put this one at 0.5. It is to make your UI scale to the screen size, make them look better. I'm gonna right click on my canvas. I'm gonna add a text. UI. I'm gonna add a legacy text, so you go to legacy and text. Mine is Unity version 2022, so I'll add a Unity legacy text. I'm gonna name it hint. Then I'm gonna click on this, hold alt. As you can see, it says hold alt, and I'm gonna press this one, which is gonna anchor it to the right section of the screen. Now I go to scene, I click on this 2D, I click on this. I'm gonna make it white so you guys can actually see it. I'm gonna make it bigger. You can actually get to this function by pressing T or pressing this one here, this one. I'm gonna make it bigger on this side, make it bigger on this side. I'm gonna make it, smaller on this side. As you can see, it is very on top, so I'm gonna, move it a little bit down, like here. I'm gonna make the text like 25. I'm gonna make it bold. When you type stuff, it's gonna be like this. So no hint is longer than this, but if you want to make it longer than this, you can change this one, or you can change it from vertical overflow to overflow, so it can overflow as much as it wants. As you can see, it's gonna just go down, down, down. So, but that's a lot, so I'm not gonna make it on overflow. So that was the hint. Let's add the star at the right side of the hint. So I'm just gonna duplicate this. You can Control D or right click, duplicate. I'm gonna name it hint star. Add a star. I'm gonna put it in the middle, and I'm gonna make it like 50. You can even change its color to red, for example, but my text is white. I'm gonna make it a little bit reddish. I'm gonna make my hint also a little bit reddish, like this. So this is my hint. When I'm gonna write it, it's gonna be like this. So that's for the UI. It's not a very good UI, it's just for testing. I just want to show you guys the function. So we set up the UI. One more thing before ending the section of creating UI is I need to right click on my canvas, right click, add an empty object. I'm gonna call it hint pack. Be sure to put its transform at 0, 0, 0. Click on this. Hold alt and press this one, select these two, drag and drop it onto this one to make them a child of this. So it is a pack, so when I want to deactivate this, I don't have to activate or deactivate it one by one. I just deactivate this whole pack. You can press, for example, E, and as you can see, I can just deactivate this empty object. The next part will be activating or deactivating the hint. So to activate or deactivate it, we need a script. First, I'm gonna create an empty object to give my script to. So I'm gonna press on this plus, add create empty object. I'm just gonna call it code holder, and I'm gonna right click on this folder, create a C# script. I'm gonna call it hint YouTube. Double click to open it up. As you guys know, we're working with UI in this, so we need to access a UI text in this script. To access a UI text, you have to say using Unity engine.ui. Now we can ask for a text file. Under here, I'm just gonna say public text. I'm gonna call it hint. And we need a game object for the hint pack, so we can activate or deactivate it. We're just gonna say public game object pack. How to activate or deactivate it by pressing a click. We're actually not gonna do that by pressing a click, but I'm just gonna show you. I'm just gonna say if I press E, I want it to get activated or deactivated, or when I press T, I want it to get activated or deactivated. To do that, we're just gonna create a boolean. I'm gonna say hint active, which is equal to false by the start. We're gonna go into void update. We're just gonna say if input.get key down key code. For example, when I press T, I want it to get activated or deactivated. So right now we're just gonna say if hint active is equal to false. We want to make it active. Else, if hint is false, we're just gonna say hint active is equal to true, and we're gonna activate our hint pack.set active equal to true. You can just copy this and paste it here. Just make this one false and make this one false as well. So if hint was deactivated, we activate it. Else, if it was activated, we deactivate it. Let's go and check it out. Select our empty object, give our code to our empty object. It needs a text and a game object. The game object is the hint pack, and the text is the hint itself. And by default, it should be deactivated. So let's go and check it out. As you guys see, when I press T, it gets activated. and deactivate it. We can also add an animation for it when it gets activated or deactivated, fade in animation. We can do this by going to this animation tab. If you don't have this animation tab by default, you can go to your window, animation, and this is animation. I have it here, so I'm going to deactivate it and show you guys. Go to your animation is going to open up. You can drag this and drop it here. I usually put it here. So to create an animation for it, you can click on this create. I'm going to go to asset hint. I'm going to create a new folder for created animes. In here, I'm just going to say fade in, for example. Okay, I'm gonna go to this animator. It's like this. So as an animation, I'm gonna select my hint. Be sure to put the animation on the hint pack. By default, I'm gonna go to my hint and hint start. I'm gonna press on this red button, make its alpha to 0. I'm gonna go for example, like here, make it like full, and it's not gonna repeat itself, so that's just fine. You can deactivate it. Be sure to go to your hint created animes and find your animation. There we can click on this, double click on this. It's gonna go to your animation in your animator tab. If you don't have the animator tab, you can go to your window, animation again. This is the animator tab. I'm gonna select my hint pack. This is my animation. By default, goes into the hint fade in. Select your animation. When you find it, just deactivate this loop time, so it doesn't loop. By default, when I activate it, it's gonna show up with an animation, but the animation might be a little bit fast, so don't worry about that. As you can see, when I press T, as you can see, it comes in with an animation. So this was for the hint function, but I'm gonna give you an example. For example, when we go into a cube collider, for example, when we go into a house, the hint should automatically get activated and show us, and then get deactivated after 2 seconds, for example. For example, when we go into a house, it's gonna show us a hint, then it's gonna get deactivated after 2 seconds. It's actually very easy. It's not actually that hard. I'm gonna add a 3D cube. Right click, 3D cube. If you want to actually see how we can actually use a cube collider, I actually made a YouTube video on that as well. You can click on top of your screen right now or get to it with a link in the description. I'm gonna click on this trigger so we can actually go inside it. So we need to give this one a script as well. So I'm just gonna create a new C# script. I'm gonna call it cube collider hint. Double click to open it up. So inside this one as well, we kind of need a text because we can change the text from the script as well. So I'm just going to say using Unity engine.ui as before. We kind of need the same thing here, like the hint YouTube. So we're just going to say public game object hint pack and a public text hint. We don't need these two. We can say void on trigger enter for when we go inside the cube. We need to be sure to do this only once and not 2 or 3 times. To actually be able to only do this once, we're just gonna create a boolean. I'm gonna call it did it once. You don't want to do it again. So did it once is actually false at the start. So right here we're just gonna say did it once is actually equal to false. If it is actually equal to false, we want to do it. First, we need to make the did it once equal to true inside it, so we don't repeat it again and again. And right here, we need to do it inside an IEnumerator because we want to wait, for example, 2 seconds, then deactivate it. To actually use an IEnumerator, we need to call it. You can call it by saying start coroutine, and you can give your coroutine a name. I'm just gonna say hint show co, which stands for coroutine. IEnumerator, give it the same name. The naming is important. So in here, we're just gonna say when we are inside this, we want the game object to get activated and wait for 2 seconds, and we want it to get deactivated. Hint pack dot set active equal to true. You can actually set the text before activating it. So you can say hint dot text is equal to, for example, you can walk with WASD. This is it. You can say it here, then activate it. Then we're gonna, for example, yield return new, wait for 3 seconds, then I'm just gonna deactivate it. So hint pack dot set active equal to false. So select our cube, we give our cube collider hint script to it. It needs a text and a game object like before. The text is actually hint and the game object is actually the game object. So I'm just gonna deactivate this mesh renderer so we can't actually see it. As you can see, when we go inside it gets activated. After 3 seconds, it gets deactivated. For example, number 3, we're gonna say if the player is actually, waiting for more than 10 seconds or 20 seconds, we want the hint to show and we want it to get deactivated. This one is actually very easy. So we're gonna go inside this code holder. We don't need this cube collider anymore. Let's go to the code holder, hint YouTube, open it up. Right here, we're just gonna add a float. We're just gonna call it time spent, which is equal to 0 by default. So I'm just gonna make it 0. We don't need this here, we can delete it. Time spent is actually plus equal 1 times time dot delta time. So this amount gets +1 each second. This time dot delta time is important because it's not gonna, increase it according to the frame, and it's gonna increase it according to the time of it. I'm just gonna make it serialized field so you guys can actually see it from outside the code. You can see the value from outside the code. This is it. We're just gonna say, for example, if we have, waited here for 10 seconds, we want the hint to show. So we're just gonna say if time spent is bigger or equal to 10. You can add the F here, you can, not add it. I don't want to add it. Then we say we want the hint pack to get activated. So we say hint pack dot set active equal to true. And you can stop this from happening if you want your game not to calculate more. You just need a boolean to stop this from increasing anymore. So we can need a boolean. I'm gonna name it more time, which is equal to true at the start. We're just gonna say if more time is equal to true. We want the values to change, we want the time spent to increase. And when it reaches 10, we don't want more time, so we're just gonna say more time equal to false. That's it. We can actually go and check it out. It is increasing until it gets 10, then it's not gonna move, and it's gonna show us the hint. As you can see, it stopped at 10 and it showed us our hint. So this was the hint function that we can actually use in our game. It was a simple explanation for it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, a like would be amazing. And you can also subscribe to see more contents like this. Comment your opinions or any questions you have or any things you want me to add or you want me to cover. I would be happy to answer your comments, and I would be happy to hear your opinions. I'm gonna go do something for the end of the video as I did in all my videos. So this is what I created for the end of the video. I hope you guys or gals like it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.